welcome back to Mariana Mas Books. My name is Mariana and today I am here with a super fun video because I am here to do my Shorty September TBR. If you have been following my channel for a while, you know that Shorty September has become my favorite, absolute favorite readathon here on BookTube. If you watched my previous video, you know that I recently had my 6th surgery and there were a lot of complications and it got really bad, so I hadn't been filming a lot and I also hadn't been reading. I actually started reading a few, I think last week, and that was because of two announcements here on BookTube. One of them was Shorty September and the other one was Framed in September. But the reason why I was mentioning this is because I am still like dealing with a lot of being tired, and so today I had energy to film, but I didn't want to do the whole setup with microphone and stuff. Anyway, back to the video. So as I was saying, Framed in September and Shorty September rose me from my reading lethargy and I'm finally starting to read again, which is very exciting, and I am absolutely excited about Shorty September. If you have seen Shorty September before, you know it's a readathon about reading short books, usually under 200 pages, and they always have a fun theme going on with the prompts. So the prompts are all based on shorts, but Heather at Too Many Heathers, who has been co-hosting since the beginning of the readathon, she always creates fun printables with the prompts following a theme. So she did a scene once, she did like a collage, she has done a lot of different things, and the theme this year is 90s nostalgia, which is one of my favorite things. I don't know if you have ever seen, if you are a millennial like me, there are a lot of millennial creators who are creating millennial nostalgia content, and I am a sucker for millennial nostalgia videos. I love them so much. So when I saw the theme, I was super excited. It's really fun. It's done like a doodle, like a page, like when you passed notes in class and you did like the doodles and stuff. So that is the design of the printable this year. There is the theme. You can print it on the videos, they have the link, and on the Instagram also, and of course fun prompts. The prompts this year are insanely good, amazing, love them. They always have, the first prompts are always the same, those are the same this year, and then they always add new prompts. And this year, Chef's Kiss, amazing, really 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Amazing prompts this year. I am very excited. So because I haven't been reading a lot of books, I don't want to pressure myself, but as you know, I love making TBRs. It's very fun for me. Making TBRs and reading are a separate hobby for me. Making TBRs feel like a game, like a scavenger hunt, where they give you prompts and you have to look for books that fit those prompts, and that is very fun. So I am going to show you almost all of the prompts from physical books that I own. Because Shorty September is about short books, then I do like picking physical books to show. However, there are a lot of short books that I have on my TBR, on audiobook, and on my Kindle. And realistically, and especially now that I'm struggling with reading, struggling with being tired a lot, I don't know how many books I'll read, and I don't know. Like, I feel like audiobook and ebook will probably get a lot of more prominence in this period. But regardless, I am going to show you some physical books because it's fun and because I always hope that I will read this. They are all from my bookshelf, and let's just get on with it. So the first prompt is Runway Fashion Shorts, a read a translated book. And for this one, the one that I chose is, oh yeah, here. Oh, I forgot to mention, I think most of these are in English or available in English, but some of them are in Spanish. So this is one of them, and it is called Aquí es un buen lugar, which means here is this is a good place, something like that. I would translate it, and it's actually a very interesting book, kind of like a graphic novel, but done in a very interesting style that actually fits the theme of the readathon super well because it's all done in like doodles, like as if it was a teenager doodling on her notebook. So there are lists, there are drawings, there are doodles, there are sketches. It's like a not a single format, it's just a different things. And this is about a young girl named Teresa Tristeza, which means Teresa Sadness, and she is a teenager. She's, I think, in high school, and this is just like a registry of her world, of her life, her teenage years through the doodles in her notebook. This one is translated from the Portuguese, so it was written by Ana Pessoa, and the translation to Spanish is done by Paula Abramo. So this is my pick, and I am very excited for it. Almost all of the books I'm going to show you would fit for several prompts, so that also helps with, you know, this moment where I'm like, okay, if I read this book, it would fit the prompt of translated, it would fit the prompt of a graphic novel, and it would fit the prompt of a book that I have owned for a really long time. Because I've owned this one for a really long time. So this one will be the first. The second prompt is half and half shorts. Read the book, then watch the adaptation. I think I always struggle with this prompt because I don't know why. I was thinking what would be a good one, and I think I am leaning towards Tristan and Isolde. So the one I own is this version. There is kind of like a version by a Spanish author. So it's not a traditional version by Chrétien de Troyes. I might buy the edition. So there are these really tiny practical editions by Alianza. This one is Eric and Enid. There is another Arthurian romance, and they also have Tristan and Isolde. And I think I'm going to get this version. I might get it because this one has an introduction where they explain a bit about the work, and then it is the traditional version in verse, and then it has footnotes explaining and stuff. So I might, yeah, I don't know who I'm kidding. I am going to end up buying Tristan and Isolde in this edition. And then I could rewatch the movie Tristan and Isolde with James Franco, which was released in the 2000s. And when I was a teenager, it was one of my absolute favorite movies. I thought it was the most romantic thing I had ever seen in my life. which makes me happy to think about because I feel like that shows that even from a young age I really leaned towards, courtly love, the Arthurian romances, medieval literature. Those types of things were the things that have always been romantic to me. So that makes me happy. I actually rewatched the movie as an adult a few years ago, and it was a very big disappointment. I remembered it much better, but it might be fun to watch it again having read the tale, because maybe I missed some references that come from the actual tale. I don't think it's a majorly like a faithful adaptation anyway, but maybe there are some things here and there that would make more sense to me now that I've read more medieval literature, that I took a course on the Arthurian cycle, and if after I read the original tale, there may be some things that I pick up on, some references that make me like it a bit more. And then, half and half. Oh my god, I'm only on prompt number 2 and I've been talking for a long time. Ripped shorts, horror, thriller, or mystery. I also struggle with that one because those are not my genres. If you follow my channel, you know this. I'm going to show the same one that I've been showing, I don't know for how many times. I believe this one is called The Werewolf, I wanna say. This is by Clemens Hausman, who is a writer from the 19th century. And this one is about a woman who is a werewolf. I think this was published in 1896. I've heard. See, here it says that the original title is The Bodily Head, but I've seen online also referred to as The Werewolf. So I'm not sure, but it's by Clemens Hausman. This is an edition in Spanish, so I mean this could also be for the translated prompt. This one is illustrated and it's a really nice edition, and I feel like I've put this one on like a gazillion TBRs for a gazillion different readathons. One day I will eventually read this one. And then the next one is Boxer Shorts, a comfort read, and for this one I knew exactly what I was going to read. And the one that I chose is a picture book, and it is called Brother Hugo and the Bear by Katie Bibb, illustrated by S.D. Schindler. And this one is about a medieval monk who is writing a manuscript, and a bear eats the manuscript. And it goes from there, and the pages are super beautiful because the whole book is illustrated in like a medieval manuscript style. So this is comfort wherever you look at it. So anything medieval is comfort for me. Is how does it say the prompt? Comfort read. Yeah, anything medieval is a comfort read for me. Anything to do with the Middle Ages, whether it's a book or a show or a movie or music, whatever it is that has to do with the Middle Ages, is comfort, is cozy. But then also it's a picture book, so double comfort, and it's about a bear that befriends a medieval monk. I cannot. If that doesn't scream comfort for you, then we are very different people. The next one is Shorty Shorts, and this one I don't have a book for. I feel like I never have a book for this one. This is a book set on the 70s or 80s. So if I come across something, I'll do that. But otherwise, I don't have one for this. Then Granddad Shorts, and that is a book that I've owned for a really long time. And let me see, did I pick a special one for this one? I feel like I didn't pick a special one for this one because I have like this one I've owned for a really long time. This one I've owned for a really long time, and this one I've owned for a really long time. So any of those would work for this prompt. And then it's culottes, I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, this prompt was amazing, and I had the perfect book for it. So the prompt is a book that looks like one thing, but it's actually another. And when I heard this one, I was like, oh my god, I have the perfect choice for this, because I bought this book thinking it was a tarot deck, and it turned out to be a book. And I was disappointed, and I was going to return it. But then I watched the announcement for Shorty September and I realized that it was perfect for this prompt. So the book is Eve's Tarot. Eve's Tarot by R.E. Lieske. I'm going to say Lieske. I saw the cover, the image of the cover, and I read the synopsis, which in hindsight, it should have told me that it wasn't a tarot deck, because nowhere in the synopsis did it mention how many cards it has or anything. But there are many tarot decks that have big boxes like this one, and it said Eve's Tarot. So I thought it was a tarot, and I was in the middle of a tarot deck buying spree. I was on heavy retail therapy mode after my surgery. If you watch my previous video, I talked about all of the ordeal. It was really awful. I was feeling lousy. I needed some retail therapy, and I was buying a lot of decks. And I saw this one and I thought, I've never seen this tarot deck before. It looks amazing. The synopsis was very romantic, so I thought it was like a romantic themed fantasy tarot deck, which I now need in my life. I thought, for any tarot people out there, I thought this was going to be in the vein of like Hidden Realm, the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, something like that. So I decided to get it. I couldn't find any images online, so I was going to return it, but it's perfect for this prompt. And then the next one is running shorts. Read a book quickly. So again, I didn't pick a specific one for that. If I read any of these quickly, I will let you know. And then bike shorts. Read a book, then do... Okay, yes, that was another one that was my favorite, absolute favorite, amazing, love it. Read a book, then do a deep dive into related topics. This one speaks to my soul because that's how I read. Every time I read, whether it be fiction or non-fiction, obviously more when it's non-fiction, but when it's fiction also, I always have a million tabs open on my browser, because as I read, I Google. As I read, I Google names, things I find interesting, things I want to research. Often when I'm reading fantasy, for instance, I read a lot of like medieval fantasy or like mythology based fantasy. So often when I read books like that and I come across a story or a name or a concept, I will Google it to see if it comes from mythology or if it's from the imagination of the author, because I really love it when authors take from sources, either historical sources or mythology or ancient texts or older texts, mythological things. I really love when authors do that. So when I'm reading fiction, I'm always Googling names, concepts, and stuff that I suspect that might be inspired by something in real life, or from, you know, a piece of literature from real life. And then with nonfiction, obviously, you know, I read a lot of history, I read a lot of art books, I read a lot of stuff like that. And whenever I read those things, I as I read, I Google. I read, I Google, and in order to not distract myself from the reading, I just Google and leave the tab open. And so when I finish the book, I have a gazillion tabs open on my phone for things that I want to do further research on. So this prompt was perfect, and I honestly have a lot of books. I could do a video about books I own that could potentially lead me on deep dives, on rabbit holes. And I wasn't sure what to pick because there are so many. But I want to show you the one I went for. And hopefully I will end up reading this one because I really do want to read it. And this is another one that is in Spanish. This one doesn't have a translation. But it's called The Garden of Idols. I am doing the translation. So, El Jardín de los Ídolos, The Garden of Idols by Georgina Moctezuma. And this one is an essay about Puebla. Puebla is the city I'm from, is the city I live in, and it is one of the oldest cities in the Americas. If you are a history lover, honestly, being from Puebla and living in Puebla is like amazing because there are so many things that are really old. Georgina Moctezuma is from Puebla. And this is an essay where she goes into the historical archives of the cathedral and different historical archives in search for a legendary park that had pre-Hispanic sculptures, something like that. I haven't read it, so that's my understanding. So it is about her and her relationship to the city, and also the history of the city and her experience in exploring through historical archives. That would be my dream. That would be my absolute dream, to just like explore the historical archives of the city. Oh my god, amazing. So I am very excited to read this, and this won an award for the best essay by a young author in 2022. So that one is that one. And just two more. The next one is a Utili-kilt, and that is a retelling. And this one is okay. I have two Arthurian picks for this readathon, and this is The Kitchen Knight. It's also a picture book, and it is The Kitchen Knight, A Tale of King Arthur, retold by Margaret Hodges and illustrated by Trina Shart-Hyman. Look at this book. 90s medieval illustration is my absolute jam. If you talk about comfort zone, that's my comfort zone. 90s Arthurian. That would be my whole vibe, my entire comfort zone. So this one, let me read a bit what it says just about the retelling aspect. It says, The Kitchen Knight retells the first part of the tale of Sir Gareth of Orkney, one of the most exciting and entertaining of the stories about King Arthur. So, well, it's an entire cycle, so there are a lot of retellings, interpretation, etc. And this specific one is a retelling about that specific tale. I'm probably showing on screen some images. Oh my god, like this book is so, Like I kind of would like to cut it up and frame the illustrations to hang as decoration in my room, but I'm not going to because I love the book, but I could, but I'm not going to, but I could. Oh, I love it so much. So the last prompt is patent leather shorts, a graphic novel or something out of your comfort zone. So because I am a escapist reader, reading out of my comfort zone is too much out of my comfort zone. So I'm going with a graphic novel. And this one, I have the Spanish edition, but it is translated in English. So this one is Wrinkles by Paco Roca. Paco Roca is Spanish, so this is originally in Spanish, but it is translated to English. So this one is about an older protagonist. He is an old man. His name is Emilio. He is retired. He is older, and I feel like he is going through dementia, and so he is put in a home, like a care facility home, and he befriends another older man and they become friends, but Emilio starts to deteriorate, and so they are scared that they are going to take him to the ward in the home where the patients with dementia are, that is more like restricted or more like a hospital, I guess, than a home. So they don't want him to be taken there, and so his friend helps Emilio to avoid going there, and they end up escaping and going on an adventure together, and that's what this one is about. I just love books that have older protagonists because that's not something that you see often in fiction. This one seems to be very sweet and very sad at the same time. And just to end the video, I'm going to do, because there is a bonus prompt that is incredibly difficult and I'm not going to do because it's annotating a book and then passing it down to a friend, which is a super cool thing to do, and it's also the most chronically online thing. And sadly, my online friends are mostly in the US and I'm in Mexico, and sending stuff via mail is already expensive and is even more expensive now with the changes in policies from the current president of the US. And so I can't do that. And in real life, I feel like I don't know a lot of people who are as bookish as me, and the ones who are don't read the same stuff that I do. But there was a Shorty September tag that I would like to film, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be, because I still want to film my mid-year freakout. But one of the prompts, in the tag was to make up your own prompt for Shorty September and say like which book you would read. So I'm going to do that. So I would make up the prompt shorts in February. And that comes because when I lived in Massachusetts, it's very cold, and I'm from Mexico, from Puebla, which even though it's not one of the hotter places in Mexico, it's definitely not as cold as Massachusetts. So in the winter time, we covered up much more than the locals, and then when it was, I think it was February, or I don't know, maybe early March, whenever they would get a bit of sun, they would wear shorts and like go sunbathing in the park. And we were like, what are you doing? It's still cold. We were still wearing jackets and they were in shorts sunbathing. And it's like, it's cute because it's like they have to take advantage of the sun, even though the sun doesn't warm like it does here. And so, all that to say, shorts in February is wearing shorts too early. And so, it's reading a book too early, and that is specifically designed because for Framed in September I read San Sebastian's Abyss last week, which is a shorty and it's about art. But it wasn't September yet, so it's too early. But I read it specifically for Framed in September and Shorty September. So it is wearing shorts too early, reading a book too early for Shorty September. So basically, starting early. So that would be it for my TBR. Thank you so much for watching. This was really fun to film. I hadn't filmed a book video in a good while. I can't wait for September to start so that I can dig in to all of this and see what I end up reading. And yeah, I've been loving watching all of the content, and that would be it. I will see you soon-ish, hopefully, with another bookish video. And in the meantime, I wish you happy reading, whether that be book reading, card reading, or whatever form of reading you prefer.